Good day, YouTube, and welcome back to our prediction video. Technically not predictions, we're saying who you should start and who you should sit this week.
We might as well take them as predictions. We don't normally.
The prediction.
Too high top here.
I think I did decent last week.
I know I did really well with my QB starts and sits. Thank you. You're welcome.
But let's once again point out that I won the bet and I won $10 because of not just one, not just two, not just three.
Hey, I don't care.
But 4 interceptions from Blake Bortles against that Chiefs team. But hey, do I say start Blake Bortles this week because it's an even week? No, I don't. But I mean, probably you should. I mean, he's good on even weeks. But anyway, this week we'll jump in. Obviously, we're going to continue our rotation going. So this week I'm back to quarterback. And wait a minute, that means Sean's on flex this week?
And he's stomach ache.
Oh, okay. Well, he'll find a way to sneak out on it yet. Flex is still towards the end of the video, so don't be shocked if Sean randomly disappears halfway through this video.
I'm not taking a flex again if he does. I'm backing out too.
Oh my gosh, Blake Bortles is my flex? Anyway, I'll just take your pick and say, well, Sean says this is that's a terrible flex right now.
I have to go. My planet.
Well, anyway, let me jump on in this week. Okay, so once again, I got quarterbacks this week. So I didn't want to go with the obvious starts. Obviously, start Tom Brady. He's got the best matchup of the week. But my start of the week is Jameis Winston is the start of the week. It's his first start this year. Falcons defense is beyond injured at this point. In fact, I think I heard the stat that you start with, 3 captains at the beginning of the year, and all 3 of the Falcons captains are on IR right now. That's awful. Falcons haven't been able to shut anyone down. We've seen from the first couple weeks, yes, it was Fitzmagic at that point. Can we call him Fitzmagic still since somebody else
No, someone actually.
Technically, I could get sued for that.
He's
Fitzpatrick. So since Fitzpatrick got benched, it was him, but everyone's putting up numbers against the Falcons. I think even if the Bucs end up losing this game, Winston's going to be putting up some pretty good numbers. They might get the ball a little bit more because Matt Ryan's a little bit injured going into this week, so they might get the defense actually might be able to stop them a little bit more this week. So I think Jameis Winston's the start of the week for quarterbacks. My sit of the week comes from a game that, if you watch our last video, we talked about how much of a defensive game it's going to be, and we argued for a long time about Ravens and Titans. Well, my sit of the week is Joe Flacco this week. The Titans defense has shut down pretty much every quarterback that's came up against them, and I don't think Joe Flacco's even in the top 3 quarterbacks that are against them so far this year. So I don't think Flacco's going to do too much this week, coming off of a rough week anyway for him against the Browns. I think Flacco's going to have another rough week. Are we going to get closer to the starting of their backup, who they drafted in the first round? No. But Joe Flacco, don't play him this week, please. For the love of God, don't play him.
All right, and then for the running back starts to sit this week, the running back that I'm starting will possibly, depending on if Dalvin Cook is playing, I think you have to start him against this Cardinals rush defense. I mean, they've just been getting gashed left and right. Matt Breida looked really well against them until he got hurt. Alfred Morris came in and actually averaged over 6 yards a carry. If Dalvin Cook can go, I think this is definitely a week that you can plug in Latavius Murray and feel pretty comfortable. Because again, that Cardinals secondary is just atrocious. My sit this week, or this coming week, is Adrian Peterson. Carolina actually has a top rushing defense. Now, I guess we're going to have someone say, well, last week someone had an amount of passing yards. Well, that's great, but too bad Adrian Peterson doesn't catch balls out of the backfield. That's Chris Thompson's job. So for me, Adrian Peterson, I just don't think this is a good matchup for him. If they get next to goal line, yeah, he's going to get the carries, but I just don't see them. I see them turning more to Chris Thompson in this game. This could easily be a game that gets out of hand. Carolina could put up some offensive points, which is going to change the game script a little bit. So for me, Adrian Peterson is someone that I'm sitting this week.
And once again, we're filming this on Monday, so if something happens and Adrian Peterson's not the starter after tonight, that's why we're talking like this and saying bench Peterson. If it's clear he's not starting next week for injury reasons.
Was he talking about me for that?
Yeah, I think so. Go ahead. Go with your well thing.
Because I don't think that was me. I think it was someone else.
Yeah, no, it wasn't me. Else.
It wasn't me. What are you talking about? I'm just saying.
It just happens to be a Barkley fanboy.
Well, Saquon Barkley did have a good game against him, so I mean, I don't.
But not rushing the football.
I don't really care about the rest of the football. I'm just saying he had a good
Calvin
receiving game
Ridley
against them.
should be a great start this week, as you have already mentioned. Yes, Matt Ryan is coming to it hurt, but it is still a Bucs defense that really can't stop anything. They are still one of the worst pass defenses, even with the bye week. So
That's awful.
I mean, in all honesty, that's average, but I mean,
Well, only 4 teams have had a week off so far.
I know, but I mean, still, Tampa Bay right now has not been able to stop anybody.
No.
Most of their games have been shootouts, and this probably will be the same way because Bucs seem to be playing teams that have really bad defenses. I'm starting to realize. I'm not liking Julio Jones in this as much because it's seeming like teams are willing to let Matt Ryan go to Mohamed Sanu or Calvin Ridley more than Julio Jones.
Or Austin Hooper.
Yeah, or Austin Hooper. I mean, maybe he'll be a tight end start this week.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
But I think Calvin Ridley is going to be a nice little start this week. If you don't have Ridley and you have Mohamed Sanu, I still don't think that's going to be a bad start either. And obviously, you're definitely going to start Julio Jones. Meanwhile, I think a good sit this week is Alshon Jeffrey for the Eagles. Surprisingly, Giants have been one of the best teams against fantasy wide receivers, or actually number 1 against fantasy wide receiver points. Now, granted, you could look back and be like, well, they played teams that don't really have top-tier receivers because the last 2 weeks they have the Cowboys and they have the Panthers, and I know Devin Funchess is still none of us are sold on him as a number 1
Has
guy.
he done anything yet this year?
I think DJ Moore has taken over more.
Slowly, yeah.
But Alshon Jeffrey had a couple good games this week, this past 2 weeks since coming back from his injury.
He only had 2 catches for.
He had a touchdown.
Who, Jeffrey this week? No.
Yeah, he did.
No. I played him in fantasy. He didn't have a touchdown. He got me 6 points.
Did they take him back?
They must have. He didn't have a touchdown.
Because I was just thinking he caught one.
No, Jeffrey didn't have not a good week. He had 2 catches for 40 yards.
Well, anyways. Even more reason to sit.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. It goes right into your argument.
But yeah, I just think that right now with the Giants, obviously they got some good quarterbacks there shutting down the receivers. And again, Eagles have kind of been slowing into this year. I still don't think Carson Wentz has fullest health. So that's why I'm going to say Jeff.
Although I will say he's still better than Nick Foles. Salty Vikings fan. Anyway. I just have to keep taking shots at Nick Foles now just because of that one comment. I'm still coming at you, Mr. Person who's probably not reading this anymore, watching us anymore. Okay, so I go into tight end.
Conference fan too.
I am. I don't like people who take shots at me. I'm kidding. Great. Now everyone who watches video is going to take a shot at me.
I would.
So I'm going into the tight ends here, and I'm going to butcher this name completely, so they're about to both laugh at me, so I don't really care. So my starting tight end of the week is CJ Uzoma.
I think you got it.
Really? I got it? Wow.
I thought you were going to struggle with
Alzumu.
I thought you were going to struggle with Ricky Seals-Jones.
Ricky Seals.
Oh yeah, I was totally going to start with CJ Uzoma. Steelers are actually the worst defense against tight ends this week. Austin Hooper, who this whole year had 2 targets per game and like 1 catch, if even that was his average, put up a 16-point fantasy game in PPR. They can't stop tight ends. Well, they did in the second half. I think Hooper didn't have any catches in the second half.
Yeah,
but that Falcons offense stopped too. So Bengals, with him being their starter right now, once again, we've seen it before where Bengals were out of nowhere. What is Tyler Kroft?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere would just show up and all of a sudden be the one there. But I would still start Uzoma this week just because the matchups there, they throw the ball a lot in Cincinnati no matter if they're up or down at this point. Joe Mixon usually gets a lot of that, but they still throw it a good amount. So I'd still start him this week. This should be a good week for him. My sit of the week is a guy who just had a monster game this week on Thursday Night Football, Eric Ebron. The Jets have been beyond shutdown at this point against tight ends throughout the whole season. So we're 5 weeks in, have only given up 7.5 points to tight ends at this point this season, 5 games. So Ebron doesn't look like he has much of a chance going into this game. And I know he's the starter. Jack Doyle may or may not be back this week to be back up there. Heck, he could even take something off of him for a team that already is shutting down tight ends. I just don't trust Ebron to put up points like he did this past week against the Patriots. So I would say sit Ebron against the Jets.
All right, my flex start of the week is Tyler Boyd.
He stayed.
I did stay. I did stay.
He's actually doing flex. This is crazy.
Right. Tyler Boyd is my start this week for flex. You know, he had a rough week last week. He really didn't do too much. But the weeks prior to that, he really turned it on. This Steelers secondary is terrible. I think they're going to focus a lot of their attention on stopping AJ Green.
Not the tight end, that's for sure.
Which, let's be honest, I don't think they're going to contain AJ Green or Tyler Boyd or CJ Uzomah. I really think this is going to be a shootout.
Or Joe Mixon. Let's
Yeah.
just play this Bengals starting offense.
Yeah, just start every Bengals player.
In other words, it's making it seem like you guys are telling the people to sit the. Well, we'll get back.
But yeah, I really think that Tyler Boyd is definitely somebody you could start in your flex position to be pretty comfortable. My flex sit of the week is Royce Freeman. Here's the thing with that. He's in a timeshare with Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay's actually been out playing the last couple of weeks. They don't use him in any sort of pass catching role. He does get goal line carries, but again, I really think this could be a defensive game, so I don't think there may not be a lot of opportunities for the goal line. So for me, I think Royce Freeman, until we kind of get a very clear picture of what's going on in that Broncos backfield, I think he's definitely someone worth sitting. He only had 5 carries this week.
Yeah.
Last week he only had 8.
He's touchdown dependent.
Pretty much. So for me, I'm not starting Royce Freeman until, unless he proves that he can take over this backfield. And again, if you play in a PPR league, he really does no good for you because he's not getting catches out of the backfield.
So what you're saying is the only weeks you want to play Royce Freeman is a week that you know that Philip Lindsay's going to throw a nice little haymaker.
Royce, I mean, the Broncos fans probably will agree that they have an awful offensive setup with what they did this week. Considering Philip Lindsay, I think, only got 11 carries, so it's not like...
Yeah, but even the week before, he only had 8 carries.
Well, they said they're going to get more involved.
I'll say this. They're better given the team, or given the running plays out than the Dolphins. Dolphins have, about a total of about 40 carries in the last 3 weeks combined?
All right. Well, I'm going to go into defensive. I'm going to go in defensive starts, and it's pretty much going to be like beating a dead horse for these next.
Both of them, actually.
I say start the Titans defense. I think we all kind of been on top of that, anyways. He's made a point about benching Flacco, and if you saw the last video, Sean even said that he thinks this Ravens-Titans game is going to be a defensive battle. So there's nothing more to really add to that, and in all honesty, there's nothing more to add to my defensive sit because I think we all just said play every Bengal you have, even Tyler Eifert probably, because I mean
You can't do any worse than negative.
Yeah.
I mean Steelers defense, yeah, they shut down the Falcons, but at the same time, Matt Ryan just did not look himself, and you can tell now that he got injured that game.
Interesting fact about Matt Ryan.
Oh.
Apparently, when the Falcons offense plays on grass, they only average 15 points a game.
Wow.
In Philly, they play on grass. In Pittsburgh, they play on grass. When they play at home, it's AstroTurf, where they put up a lot of points. So anytime the Falcons are playing on a grass field, be wary.
Oh, wait, where are they playing? Are they at home against the Bucks?
Yes, they are.
Oh, there you go. Start Matt Ryan.
Right.
But yeah, I think I'm beating a dead horse by saying do not. They looked great against the Falcons. Let's all embrace that. They just shut down one of the top offenses. However, let's face it, the Steelers are not going to do much. The only defensive stud they really have is T.J. Watt. Other than that, their quarterbacks are still getting beaten. Their linebackers, other than Watt's, not doing much, and they're really not getting to the quarterback too much. I mean, they did get to Ryan this week, but that was mainly Watt again.
Right.
So, I mean, this is not a good Steelers defense, and this is not a good Steelers team. Sorry, Pittsburgh fans. I'm coming right up.
We're losing all our viewers.
They need to know it. I mean, you still could win the division because I'm still not completely sold on
I don't
it.
think they win the division.
But here's the funny thing now. We have all just completely ripped apart the Steelers and talked with the Bengals. So now I'm going to change my pick to the Bengals losing this game to the Steelers this week.
Seriously, switch?
I feel like I should because every time that we talk a team up heavily like this, the complete opposite happens. So either way, that is our starts and sits for the week. So basically what we're saying is start the Bengals offense. and start everything to do with the Bengals offense and bench the Steelers defense.
So in other words, what you should do is start the Steelers defense and bench every single Bengals player you have.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And just remember though, that's our video. Make sure to like, subscribe, do whatever the heck else you want to do to our video. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to
Stuff
judge
like
you.
that.
Anyway, because I say stuff like that because we are the fantasy forecasters. We predict it just as good as the weather.
That doesn't even make sense.